Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Last weekend was quite busy for Michigan State athletics as 5 teams who are ranked in the top 25 in their respective sports were in action. The MSU men's tennis team had its season opener and upset number 6 Kentucky at the MSU indoor tennis facility. Also on Friday night, the MSU women's gymnastics team hosted rival Michigan at the Breslin Center as they removed the court from the Breslin to make the first ever gymnastics meet at the Breslin Center. Here's a quick recap of everything that went down last weekend.
Number 6, Michigan State took part in the Be Bold campaign. Each gymnast was wearing a special bow representing a cause close to them. The Spartans started on vault. Gabby Stephen would have some serious height, just a tiny step at the end, but Stephen would record a 9.825 to help MSU take the early lead. Then on uneven bars, Sage Kellerman with a great release. Kellerman would get a 9.9 to help the Spartans lead by a quarter of a point after the first 2 rotations. Nikki Smith was up to her usual tricks and was solid once again for MSU. The back handspring layout step out led to her earning a 9.875, and she would be the all-around winner. Then in the final rotation, All-American Skyla Schulte was back in the lineup for floor only on Friday night. And check out the power here from Schulte. It would be a 9.925 for her. The Spartans would go on to win with a final score of 197.5, and they got to do it in front of a record-breaking crowd of over 6,000 people.
It's just what I imagined it would be, but then times 10. Because you just look up there and seriously, a couple times I got teary-eyed. It would be like, wow, they weren't going to open the curtains up on the upper deck. And then I saw they had half of them open. And then by the end of the meet, it was all open. There's people up there, which is exciting for us, the sport, you know, the university, the program.
Also happening last Friday night, Michigan State's hockey team was on the road taking on rival Michigan. The first game of the series would go in favor of the Wolverines thanks to Garrett Shifsky's game-winning goal in overtime. Then the Spartans would respond the next night as the series shifted to Munn Ice Arena in East Lansing. MSU head coach Adam Nightingale has preached wanting hot starts from his team, and the Spartans did just that last Saturday. First period, MSU was on the man advantage. Matt Baskell, high slot, rifles at home, so the Spartans go up 2-0 after the first period. Then in the second, MSU is on the power play, and it's the talented freshman Shane Van Sage with the redirection to put Michigan State up 3-0. Same period, Spartan netminder Trey Augustine was absolutely dialed in. He denies the Wolverines one of his 34 saves on Saturday night, and it was a Spartan special teams masterclass. Later in the second period, MSU shorthanded, and Charlie Stramel adds another goal. Stramel had 2 goals Saturday night, helping Michigan State win 4-1. So what was the difference for the Spartans in Game 2 of the series?
I thought we were a lot more determined offensively. I thought we played more on the inside tonight, and I thought the crowd was awesome. You know, they were really into it, and so that was a good win for our program, and thankful to be part of the rivalry. I think that you know, it's a blessing it forces you to be better, and obviously last night we needed to be better, and I think that's what's special about this rivalry is it forces you and pushes you to improve your team.
On Sunday, it was a double dose of Spartan basketball. The men welcomed in Illinois for a top 20 matchup at the Breslin Center. And in the first half, it would be Illinois freshman Will Riley taking over. He scored 16 of his 19 points in the first half. However, it would be the Spartans making a comeback to help tie things at 36 heading into the break as Jackson Kohler gets the late bucket to tie things before halftime. Then in the second half, how about the high flyer Cohen Carr showing off his three-point shooting ability, another 3 for Carr to create some momentum for MSU. Then Michigan State in transition, Trey Holloman finds Jeremy Fierce Jr. for the bucket and the foul. Fears had to flex on him as Michigan State was up by 6. Next possession, Holloman drives, gets a tough layup to go for 2 of his team-high 17 points to extend the MSU lead. Less than 2 minutes to play, though. Merez Johnson Jr. cuts the deficit to 2 with this bucket, and just over a minute to go. How about the senior? Jaden Akins off the glass and in. MSU goes up by 3, and in the final seconds, Fears goes deep to Carson Cooper to seal it. Michigan State took down Illinois 80-78 to remain in first place in the Big Ten. The Spartans are 7-0 in the conference and have won 11 straight games. Lastly, on Sunday, the MSU women's basketball team was also taking on Illinois, but on the road. In the first quarter, Captain Julia Arelt at the top of the key connects to put MSU up by 7. Then in the third quarter, Grace Van Slooten down low gets the hoop and the harm. Van Slooten finished with 24 points. In the fourth quarter, how about Farron Halleck? Absolutely dialed in. She was balling last Sunday. Arelt intercepts the pass. Halleck puts on the wheels and lays in 2 of her career-high 26 points as Michigan State would take down Illinois 86-68.
As of this week, here's how the rankings go for those 5 teams in their respective sports. The hockey team is ranked 2nd in the country. The gymnastics team is ranked 4th in the country. Men's basketball is ranked 8th. Men's tennis is ranked 17th. And the women's basketball team is ranked 21st. When we come back, we're going to be sitting down with gymnastics head coach Mike Rowe to talk more about his team's early season success. We'll see you soon.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/cashback plus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
In front of a record-setting crowd of over 6,000 people, the Michigan State women's gymnastics team took down rival Michigan for the 3rd straight season. Our Haley Schoengart caught up with head coach Mike Rowe this week to talk more about the first-of-its-kind meet here at the Breslin Center, as well as why he believes his team can reach nationals.
You've been dreaming of having a meet in the Breslin Center for quite a few years. How did it live up to the expectations?
That and way then some. I mean, it's way above and beyond because you really don't know. You know, they said pre-sales were looking really good, and so they're going to open up the Upper Bowl, and it just, you looked up and you went, wow, and it was loud and electric, and it just made it even, you know, that much more exciting, and we've, you know, grateful.
At the meet, you guys set a season best on floor, and you guys brought the sass on floor. Every single routine. What went into the creation of those routines this season?
And Nicole's always been that way. It's about the performance quality of it. I mean, and I think NCAA collegiate gymnastics has evolved to that. There have always been some teams that are better than others at that, and you know, with her dance experience and performance experience, you know, you have to let your inhibitions go, and you have to get sassy, and you have to, you know, own it. They can't just practice it and then do it on the floor. They have to practice it on the floor. So they need to be selling it in practice every day. You know, it comes down to it, and it's kind of what we're known for. We're one of those teams that brings a really competitive floor team, and the performance is what people come to see. It's not just the choreography, but it's what they put into it and how they interpret it. That's the expectation now, I think, and we're excited about that. That's a good thing.
Bars was really the area you guys created some separation with Michigan at that meet. Where have you seen the gymnasts really step up and rise to the occasion to make those scores go up this year?
We've gotten so much better on shapes and handstands, and I think we stuck 5 out of 6 dismounts, just nailed them, and it was brought to our attention. I was obviously witnessing it, but one routine you leave for the next routine, and then we're doing the same thing on beam as well. We were stick and landings, and you know, that's a 10th or a half 10th every single time, and once again that adds up. You know, the kids had a really productive summer and came in with their skills, with the technical details that we're usually addressing mid-September, beginning of October, whatever, and we were already addressing stuck landings that soon.
You return a lot of veteran leadership to your team this year. You think Skylar Schulte, Delaney Harkness, Gianna Khalifi. How is that leadership vital, especially when you look towards a deep postseason run and hopefully a bid to nationals?
It is huge. It is huge because they're there for each other. I mean, the first 2 meets, Skylar was out of the meet, but her leadership and what she brought to each individual athlete on each event that was competing for the first 2 weeks of the season was crucial, and it made such a huge difference. I mean, she can get those kids amped and ready to go and thinking this is not about me. She's a we person.
And she's an All-American, puts up big scores for you guys, but to be able for her to step back but still be present and cheer on the team, what did that mean to you to see her be that ultimate teammate on the sidelines?
It was interesting because not a word had to be said to we expect you to still be a part of this and you know, help these kids have their backs and help them be prepared and confident to go forward or whatever. She took it upon herself. And very encouraging, not surprising in any way, and definitely made a difference.
Did anyone rise to the occasion in her absence that really impressed you?
A freshman, Amy Doyle, on bars. A couple freshmen on beam, Emma and Katie Duplessis. On floor, Gianna and Ellie were back and forth. It was, you know, even Olivia Zarmani stepped up in the all-around. So we're so fortunate that we have these kids that just plug in or whatever and can hold their own or do the same as, you know, what Skylar would do on any given day. And they're all capable of doing it. It was nice to see that they could do it. They did do it.
How pleased are you with the depth that you've talked about, you've had all season long for your athletes to put their money where their mouth is and put up a big score when you needed it?
It's so refreshing because you don't know until you get them out there. And if they haven't had the competitive experience at this level in front of these kind of fans and, you know, the competitive nature of collegiate gymnastics and how your weekly averages and everything, your NQS, everything goes to the postseason, even though we're taking it 1 meet at a time. They were very mature about it and jumped on the bandwagon, and I think they get it. I think their proven success in doing what they're doing is just solidifying their confidence to move forward.
Michigan State has sent individual gymnasts to nationals. You guys are still in search of that bid as a team. What gives you confidence that this is the right group at the right time that's going to land you guys there?
We know this is the right group and it's the right time, but we have to still be humble and know that nothing's going to be given to us. No one's going to lay down and let us step over them to go to, you know, the Elite Eight or whatever. We have to work, and it's the 1 weekend at a time again. And even though we are going on, what, a third of our season, almost in week 4, there's still a lot of season left, and a lot of teams below us can do a lot of better things, and we know we can do better. We've just got to, I like that we came out of the gates strong, and we're staying there because that's kind of been our tradition now. We got to stay on top of it. We got to, you know, can't take anything for granted.
So while the women's gymnastics team competed against Michigan last Friday, the women's basketball team gets their chance to take on the Wolverines this Saturday in Ann Arbor. After the break, we're going to be sitting down with head coach Robin Freilich ahead of their top 25 matchup with Michigan. We'll see you soon.
I love getting out and trying new things, but my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
On Wednesday this week, the Michigan State women's basketball team took down Penn State 82-61 here at the Breslin Center. It was the 4th straight win for the Spartans, who will now get ready to take on rival Michigan on Saturday at noon. Last year, the Spartans won both meetings with the Wolverines in Robin Freilich's first year as head coach, and we sat down with Freilich this week to discuss this top 25 matchup with the Wolverines this year. Coming off of, you lose 3 of 4, but now you've won 4 straight games with this group. What's been the biggest thing that's impressed you about the way they have responded, especially in Big Ten play, to reel off 4 wins in a row?
Well, it's a long season. I think some of it is just who you're playing, when you're playing, and so a big thing we just talk about is every game there's something to learn. Every team we play is pretty unique too, and just having a mentality around moving forward, whether we won or we lost, right? What are the things that we definitely need to get better at as we move through a season? So I think our team's been good at that.
6 players had threes in the win over Penn State on Wednesday. Jocelyn was one of them, and I remember her saying after the game that she felt like she didn't have a good week of practice leading up to that. I guess what allows players like her to excel when the lights are the brightest?
She's played a lot, right? So there's a lot of experience she's had over her career. I also think so much of her energy comes from the defensive end, and I thought she really got us going defensively. She had some really good defensive possessions, and when that typically happens, it translates to the offensive end for her. So we are good to see it on both sides.
I feel like one thing that always helps this group warm up, at least I always see it online, is there's always that half-court video.
Yep.
Where did that start for you or for this group?
I've done it the whole time I've been a head coach. So I just think it's a fun tradition at the end of every shoot-around. We track it, so it's coaches versus players. We kind of have a record going. We caught up on them a little bit yesterday. Just something fun.
Every player and coach gets one shot attempt? Or?
Yep, for every game.
Okay. How many have you made?
I've made 2 this season.
Now you get ready for a very tough game on the road against Michigan, top 25 matchup. I guess what stands out about the way they're playing right now? And obviously they have 3 freshmen that are very talented.
They play good basketball. I think they shoot it really well. They pass it really well. They play in space a lot. A lot of times they're playing with 5 guards. So a lot of split screens, stagger screens, motion, slips. We'll have to be really sharp, and we'll have to do a good job of we'll be in space a lot, so we'll have to do a good job guarding in space.
Yeah, obviously last year was your first chance to coach in the rivalry. I guess what was the biggest takeaway from the game, especially down in Ann Arbor?
It's just a different game. It's what makes it so fun to have a in-state rivalry an hour apart. Not many people get that, right? Like a true rivalry, and the game feels like it. It's not the same game as any other conference game, and there's a 5 senses experience to that. And you have to prepare like that, and you have to compete like that.
But how do you keep the players from making it feel like a bigger game and keeping them kind of the same as they would be against like a Penn State?
Preparation, but we don't try to pretend it's not a bigger game. It is, and so we like their energy, their enthusiasm, the competitive spirit that goes with those are all really good things.
What do you like about this group and that competitiveness that allows them to really want to wake up for these type of games?
Well, when we're at our best, our competitive spirit's really good, and the way we play demands that, right? With our full court pressure, our half court defensive pressure, it demands a collective competitive spirit. So when we're at our best, you can really feel that.
Someone who I feel like really has that type of confidence and that passion, Theron. She's coming off a career day on Sunday against Illinois. How has she just continued to, accept her role more and more as, the starting point guard?
What can't she do? It's unbelievable.
We've moved her off the ball more recently, and so I think that's helped. I think that her scoring's gone up with us doing that. I think our ball movement as a whole with our team has been improved. And when we do that, we score it more efficiently, and we score more. So those are things we hope to keep happening. She does a good job too, like if we get a defensive rebound or steal, of using her speed to create advantage and get layups.
While Freilich got her first taste of the rivalry as a coach last season, one player who will experience the rivalry for the first time is transfer Jaden Simmons. We'll sit down with her right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
With the help of her dad and brother, Michigan State senior transfer Jaden Simmons refers to herself as a blue-collar type of player, doing whatever the team asks her to do on the basketball court. Simmons transferred to Michigan State after 4 years at Arizona State, where she reached over 1,000 career points. Our Desharian McBroom recently had a chance to sit down with Simmons and has more on how she's pushing for excellence.
Like most kids growing up, Jayden Simmons competed in many different sports, but basketball became her true calling. And with an older brother as well as her dad, Jason Simmons, who's an NFL defensive coach for the Washington Commanders, working to be anything but the best wasn't an option.
I mean, yeah, when I was younger, sometimes I was like, I don't want to go work out with you guys, but as I got older, I started to love it and just want to work out with them. And then also, I had another brother that came and lived with us, and he was there. He played football too, so I just got a lot of competitive spirit throughout the entire household.
Your dad has kind of played at the highest level, coached at the highest level, even though that's a different sport. How has maybe he kind of motivated you to kind of push your limits the way he kind of pushed his in his individual sport?
Yeah, I mean, he gives me tools that they learn at his facility. It's just like mental health training and just, obviously the physical side and things like that. So I think he just does a good job of helping me on both the physical and mental side and showing that, they go together extremely, especially in sports. So just putting those together and using those tools that he gives me and, trying to apply them. I want to be known for just being a grit player and having, stops on defense and facilitating, that blue-collar player really. Just anything I can do to help the team win is what I'm looking for.
Back on January 12th, the Spartans had a special opportunity to meet many alumni of the women's basketball program, a moment Simmons says she was excited for.
It's always nice just having alumni come back because those are the people that built the program, for us to even be here today. So it was just nice seeing that their support was still there. I mean, it was like 200 and something returning alumni, so I thought that was really cool to see all the fans and show how much they really care for the program.
What was it like meeting that 2005 Final Four team that was the national runner-up, and how did that kind of maybe motivate you or motivate the team a little bit?
It was nice meeting them. It just helped me learn even more tradition and history on MSU and just the fight that they had in order to get there. No matter what they won or lost, I think they just showed how much they loved each other as a team because they all came back and smiling and, they're not worried about the loss. They're more so worried about just seeing each other and the program being built.
Just the cohesiveness of this team. I know a lot of the players, a lot of the coaches have talked about that, talking about how you guys have grown so close. What has made this team so close, which has led to you guys being so successful so early?
I think the biggest thing, I know we had a lot of transfers, but I think everybody came in here humble, willing to, put in the work and wanting to win. And then also the returners, they were welcoming with open arms. And I think everyone just coming in here with the mindset of we want to win and not we want to be, top scorer, top whatever it is. I think that was the biggest thing. The coaches did a good job of recruiting people that are really for the team and not for themselves.
And with Simmons' collegiate career coming to an end after this season, she will soon shift her attention to the next phase of her life.
And of course, I would love to play after, and if not, then stay within sports and continue within that basketball career somehow, some way. I would go play, then coaching, and then maybe on the business side. I'm not rushing anything, so whatever happens, happens. I'm just staying in the moment.
But just in general, playing for this program, is it ever a point where you kind of think about the pressures of playing at such a historical basketball program?
I wouldn't say that. I was more so happy to just be a part of a successful team and, my last year wanting to just smile through it all. So I'm happy that, they are successful and have that legacy, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Though she says she still has much more she wants to achieve, for the success she's had so far in her career, she credits much of that to her family, who has motivated her in more ways than one.
Yeah, I mean, family's forever, and friends come and go, so I think it's just a big part of who I am, and I'm just happy that that's what I grew up with, because I know not everyone grows up like that, and I'm blessed and just, thankful to have grown up and have people that really lock in on things like that.
So while the women's basketball team takes on Michigan on Saturday at noon, the MSU men's basketball team will be taking on Rutgers at 1:30 on Saturday at Madison Square Garden in New York. That is going to be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed, and before we go, here's our Play of the Week.
Now, the Play of the Week, sponsored by Schupan & Sons.
Thus far, for Michigan State, credit Illinois for getting back well.
Akins off-balance circus shot.
Excellent drive by Jaden Akins. His first few shots were from the perimeter.
10,000 Michigan children are in foster care, and many of them need a temporary home. Are you open?
As a foster parent, you help a child reach their goals.
You make a game-changing assist.
You give a child the home advantage.
And you do it because you know every child deserves a special team.
Ready to cheer on a child? Take the first step to become a foster parent today.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/cashback plus.